Hey guys, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be showing you part 2 on how to make this Among Us plushie. This portion will cover the backpack and the visor. With part 1, I'll be doing a voiceover, and I also have images like this where you can pause or screenshot. So we're going to start with the backpack. For this you need a 3.5mm hook. You're going to make a slip knot, chain 10, single crochet in the second chain from the hook and the remaining chains. In total you should have 9 single crochets. When making the backpack and starting your first row, you can go inside any loop you want to, but I always opt to go into the third loop on the hook. Not the front loop, not the back loop, but the third, which is on the opposite side of your chains. Once you reach the end of the row, you'll want to chain 1 and turn your work. For rows 2 through 8, all we'll be doing is placing a single crochet in every space. You should have 9 single crochets at the end of every row. Remember, this is for rows 2 through 8. Rows 9 and 10, we're going to be working on the sides of the backpack. For this, I go into the front loop. On the sides, I ignored the first and the last stitch, but I single crocheted the sides. Once I get to the bottom, I go in the front loop again. Once I make it to the side, I skip the first and I skip the last space where a single crochet will be. Skipping these sides help me form a curved angle, which I'll show you once we get to that point. As you can see here, our first corner it's already being curved, and now our second corner has also been curved. Here I am showing you how each corner has been curved. And for row 10, all we're going to do is chain 1 and then single crochet around. Now we're reaching the end of row 10. We'll slip stitch into the first single crochet, chain 1, cut off your yarn and pull it tight. The only thing left to do is find out where we want our backpack to be positioned, sew it on, and stuff it. So here I am showing you a good way to see how you want it. Just hold your plushie at different angles and see what looks best for you. So now that we have our position figured out, we're just going to sew it together. You can sew it however you want to, but what I do is go through one space on the plushie and one space on the backpack and just sew them together. I don't even know like the name of this sewing method I'm doing. All I know is it works for me, so that's what I do. So now we're nearing the end of sewing the backpack on. You're gonna leave a little space so that you can stuff it. Here I am just showing you me stuffing it. After you stuff it, all you'll be doing is sewing it closed. I apologize for moving out of frame when I was sewing it, but again, the sewing doesn't really matter. You just do whatever you're comfortable with doing. So to make sure this doesn't come loose, we're just going to tie a knot with our working thread, stick it inside of the plushie, have your needle coming out the other side, then cut it off. So now that our backpack is sewn on, we'll be moving on to the visor. Here you go, you can screenshot or pause this if you want to. For our visor, we'll be using a 3mm crochet hook. You'll start by making a chain of 7 is complete, then you place an increase in the second chain from the hook. An increase will just be 2 single crochet in 1. After you place your increase, you'll single crochet in the next 4 spaces, place 3 single crochet in the last space, then single crochet the last 5. Then your row 1 will be finished. Now we're about to begin row 2. I use a spare piece of yarn as my stitch marker, but you're going to increase in the next 2 spaces, single crochet in the next 4 spaces, increase in the next 3 spaces, single crochet in the next 4 spaces, and end off with an increase. Now we're on to row 3. For this row, we'll start by single crocheting in the first space, increasing in the next space, single crocheting in the next 9 spaces, increasing in the next space, and single crocheting in the next 8 spaces. Now we're on our final row of this light blue color. We'll start by placing an increase in the first space. We'll single crochet in the next 2 spaces, increase in the next space, single crochet in the next 7 spaces, increase in the next space, single crochet in the next 2 spaces, increase in the next space, and single crochet in the last 7 stitches. Here we're approaching the end of row 4 and moving on to row 5. Row 5 will just be regular single crochets with the color black, which will serve as the border of your visor. Here I'm just showing you how I color change, but you can color change in whatever method is best for you. And remember, here all we'll be doing is placing a single crochet in each single crochet space from the previous row. Here we're approaching the end of row 5. All you'll be doing is slip stitching into that first single crochet space that we had, chain 1, cut off your yarn. You'll leave a decent amount of yarn because you'll be using this to sew it onto the plushie, and we're just going to pull that yarn tight. Now that the main portion of the visor is done, we'll be working on this white section, which is like a glare within it. All you'll be doing is cutting off a decent amount of white yarn, and you'll just be sewing it onto it, like just going in the back, coming out the front, going in the back, coming out the front. I did this about 3 times just so I can get the look that I wanted. To secure this, all I'll be doing is tying it in a double knot, then cutting it off. This is what our finished visor will look like, and here I am just showing you, you'll want to put it on there just like we did the backpack to see what's the best position for it. After you started sewing on the visor, you'll leave about a quarter size space left, and that's what you'll use to insert your stuffing. So now that we stuffed the visor, we'll just sew the rest of it closed and you're finished. Just like with the backpack, we'll tie a knot and stick it in the back of the project, stick it all the way through, pull it out, and cut it just so it can be extra secure and won't come loose.